Welcome back, everybody, and today we are going to be getting at it because we got really lucky with some of our recent scouting, and we have finally been able to get some new Umas on our roster. Not only did we pull Tamamo Cross 3 times as of yesterday morning, but we were also able to get Hishi Amazon. We were also able to get, where is she? The standard Biwa Hayahide, and we just pulled the New Year's Same Radiance TM Opera. So we're going to be doing videos on every single one of those because the scouting has been cracked, and I'm so happy. The only ones left that I really want are Maruzensky, and who else would I even want? I'm not sure. Maruzensky's at the top of my list, though, so hopefully we'll get here. But today we're going to be started off with a Hishi Amazon. For the stat increases, we have a 20% increase to power and a 10% increase to guts, meaning she is going to be on the medium to high end of difficulty when it comes to training. You get no stat bonuses to speed or stamina, so we're going to have to really focus on that when it comes to the legacy characters and support cards. She does have some pretty decent default skills, but we will save that for the end of the match when we are going and actually purchasing them. So for now, let's go ahead and get this career with Hishi Amazon started. I'm going to be using 2 legacy characters that not only give good turf sparks, but also some medium sparks, because we're going to be training her up to be at least a mile racer, ideally a medium, depending on what we get for stamina. And then we're also going to be trying to put as many points into stamina with our legacy cards. So we have a 42-33 split by borrowing a legacy character. Anybody should be able to get a split like that just by going and following someone whose legacy character you can borrow. And then we're going to be using our own, the Agnes Tachyon here. That's going to give us a 42 to stamina and a 21 to speed. This is going to balance out our trainings because we're going to have a ton of extra points going into power due to the stat increases. For our support cards, we're going to be borrowing a Kitasan Black. I'm also going to throw on 2 stamina cards. So we're going to have a Super Creek and a Manhattan Cafe. We have Super Creek up to level 35, and then we have Manhattan Cafe maxed out. Let's go ahead. We'll borrow a Rico support card for the career scenario link. And then I'm also going to be throwing in 2 speed cards here. Our best ones are going to be our King Halo and our Aishin Flash. This is going to be our build to get an A rank and a PvP viable Hishi Amazon. So let's get to it. And here we are right at the beginning. We are going to be focused mainly on our speed cards when doing the training. We're going to prioritize them over the other support cards that we have, specifically because speed is not only most important, but it is also a skill that we have no additional percentage increase to. So it's going to be really important that we get these speed cards up as quickly as possible and also get that speed level up as quickly as possible. So if we have a double stack with our speed cards, that is pretty much going to take over our training, completely dependent on what the other option is, but it's very unlikely we'll get a better option than that. So right there, we can do our stamina training with both Super Creek and Kitasan Black. Kitasan Black, being our maxed out borrowed card, is likely going to be the support card that we max out very quickly. Now we got a stamina training with 3 support cards and 2 unity training, so we'll take that as well. That's going to give us an edge on the Unity Cup. We are aiming to win the Unity Cup specifically for the stat increases that it provides by the end of the career. However, the main focus right now for this is going to be stats, as winning the Unity Cup doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better Uma. Your stats might be a little bit higher, but if you focus too much on the Unity training specifically, even if it's on a really good one or if it's on a really bad one, that could potentially lower the stats in the skills that you would prefer those stats to go into through a standardized training. So we'll take the 20 power there. Any dialogue options, we're going to be prioritizing power and speed. We'll do a wit training for the Rico and to get our energy up a little bit. And then we got the double on speed, 17%. Probably wouldn't risk any higher than that. I'd take a rest after this, ideally, get some of that energy back. If we can land a 70, that would be fantastic. But we also want to make sure that we're avoiding as many debuffs as possible, being that she is one of the more difficult Umas to train. We have another double stack there with the speed cards with our additional Manhattan Cafe on there, so that's going to allow our speed cards to get up by quite a bit. We could do a wit training here, but that's not going to give us quite enough energy to actually take another turn. So I'm going to go ahead, take a rest. We don't have the Rico training yet, so resting at this point in the game is going to be our most beneficial option. And because it is the junior debut, we're going to work in one more speed right before the race, as speed is going to be the main skill that affects whether or not you actually win your junior debut. Because she is an end closer by default, we're going to switch her over to a front runner just for this race. I know it says G, but it works. Just trust me. We always like to do that for the junior debuts on every Uma. I actually haven't had one that didn't work for besides Biwa, because her aptitudes for the first race are actually not all golden. So it's a bit of a strange scenario with her. But in this case, we were able to win that. We got a Super Creek scenario. And now we got another double speed stack with Super Creek stacked on there. So that's going to be a really good training to do. And there is our Kitas in Black. Our Aishin Flash is almost there. And then lastly, we'll have to get King Halo up to Rainbow training as well. And we'll be able to really crank out some solid speed trainings. So now here we have two options, really. We could do the Wit training just for the Aishin Flash and the Taiki shuttle? Yeah, I almost said Tokai Teo. But we're actually going to do the speed this time because our energy is really good. We do want to get our Manhattan Cafe up, but this is going to affect 4 cards here, which means we're going to have a higher chance of getting more bubble pops, therefore more stat increases a little bit later on. A little bit of wit from Rico there. And we're looking at, what, a 15% failure rate. Let's go ahead. We'll do this one. We can throw in our Super Creek and King Halo training, plus get their Unity levels up. And King Halo is going to be a good sprinter for us, and Super Creek is going to be a really good long distance for us. Now our Aishin Flash is practically on the line of being able to do the Rainbow training, so let's go ahead and take a rest since our energy is really low once again. We're lucky enough to score a 70 energy back. Love it when you get that type of RNG. And then we're going to do a stamina training here. We'll put Aishin Flash over the edge, and hopefully King Halo will align on some good ones going forward. It is a little bit of a roll of the dice depending on your special priority and hit frequency. You'll see slight alterations there, but at the end of the day, it does kind of come down to RNG. And perfect, we got a King Halo and Manhattan Cafe training here. They're both in the green. King Halo's on the front end of it. I'd rather take a mood down here than an energy down because we have a lot of mood up events. And then that's going to be another good stamina. We got our 2 support cards there. Super Creek by far is going to be our most difficult Uma to get her friendship bonus up, just because she's our lowest rated one and we don't have a really good starting friendship bonus with her. Here we got a double speed with a King Halo on it, so it's technically a triple speed stack. She just wasn't able to proc the rainbow. A little unfortunate, but still really good training points, so we'll take it regardless. Now it's time for a rest. Our energy's a little too low to do a Rico right there. We're going to leave Night Owl on there, and we'll cure it once we get to beach training. Night Owl is not so detrimental that I'm going to waste a turn trying to heal it and maybe not even heal it. So for now, we'll just take it as it is, and hopefully we won't get the mood downs too often. Now we got 7 turns until the Oka show. And our speed cards are looking good. Our energy's just over half. So depending on how this plays out, we might get some really good stacks here. Yep, that's a 38. Not to mention, it helps out 2 of our support cards. Our mood did go up to great due to events, which is nice. That means we didn't waste a turn by taking the mood down instead of the energy down with that King Halo support card. And we are headed into our first Unity Cup round here. We did do quite a lot of Unity Cup training, so we're looking pretty decent. We'll go ahead and take the top option there. If you don't have really good stat matchups, I would suggest taking the middle option, and you'll be a little more likely to pull off the win. It looks like here we actually got a draw. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. We can keep on. No worries. That's not going to tank our run by any means. We can still get the stats we're looking for in a Team Trials Freddy Hishi Amazon. Now we're going to do the Let's Take Things Easy. This is usually the best option. It gives you 20 energy back, but if you have max energy at that point, I would choose the option that gives you more skill points. Therefore, you'll be able to afford more skills at the end here. We got another double speed stack, pretty good there, with a bubble pop and Super Creek stacked on there as well. So that was a really good stack for us. Next up, we're really lacking on the wit, and Manhattan Cafe is on wit, so we're going to throw that in there. That got her where we want her. And we're looking at, what, 23%. So let's go ahead. We'll do a Rico training. She'll give us a little bit of stat increases as well as some energy. We got 32 energy there, and stamina went up by 12. And that's a 50 to speed. Another really good training there. And that's going to help out both Rice Shower, Montikane, Fukutaru. Rice Shower, we're going to put in long. Monty's probably going to be our medium runner. And then we got our first Key to Some Black event. With any luck, we'll be able to get that Professor of Curvature rather early on. This is going to be one of those times I'm going to try out for stamina. No rainbow training on speed. And we did have the double stack with Super Creek on there. So we do still get a pretty solid stat bonus there. And we're getting Super Creek much, much closer to being able to do rainbow training. Now that time I did do a rest instead of a Rico training, due to the fact that the Rico training was only going to give about 26 to 30 energy back, and we had really, really low energy, so that was going to be more beneficial. We landed a 50 with it. Our energy's looking solid, and we are headed on to the Oka show. Before the Oka show, we are going to want to make sure that we switch all the way back to our N closer, because that's going to be her A aptitude. And she pulled off a 4th. Not very great, but I've done a couple runs with her, and she does struggle at some of the earlier races. So if you want to get those fan numbers up, you can always buy a skill. I would recommend some sort of recovery skill if you have it. But anything that's going to be end aptitude or a recovery skill that can work with her would probably be good to go and help you really rank up on those places with the early game races. We're not too worried about it right now because we're not necessarily going for fans. I know it does give certain added bonuses, but ultimately our racer's still going to be pretty solid by the end of this. And then what do we got here? We can do a solid stamina one. We do have the Japanese Oaks, which is going to be a 2,400 meter race. So I think that's a really good time to do a stamina training. It's also going to bump out Rice Shower and Agnes Digital, who's going to be one of our dirt racers. So we've officially covered all of our bases for every single type of race. Obviously, some are getting more trainings than others, but that's okay. We'll throw that into stamina because most of our racing and skill increases are going to go to speed going forward. Power will kind of come up naturally. We'll be able to get a bunch of wit when we don't have any rainbow trainings. And then stamina, you know, if we get the double stacks, we'll go for it. If not, we might just set her up to be a mile runner, just really depending on the ultimate stamina that she comes off with. Now, that's not very good, so let's go ahead, take a rest. And we got another 50, looking good. We'll take the single speed training. Anything to increase that speed level right now is going to get us many more stat increases than waiting until late game to pull that off. So we can do the Unity Cup now. And it looks like we're looking pretty solid. We've been training them quite a bit, and we've had really good luck with our Unity matchups. So we were able to pull off that second win. Now we got a draw, then a win. And I think at this rate, we're going to be looking pretty good for the actual Unity Cup finale race. Got some new members here. Smart Falcon is really the only notable one we'll probably focus on in order to get that speed training up, or that, not speed training, that dirt racing up. Excellent. And there, we took a rest. That will cure the Night Owl. I don't remember if we were actually affected by it. If it was, it didn't hit us very hard. We don't have any rainbow training, so we're going to do a wit training. This is going to be one really good time to do some solid wit training. You can do it again. Help out Super Creek there. And now we're going to have really good energy in the case that we do proc a solid speed or stamina training. Really? Nothing. Interesting. Well, you win some, you lose some. Let's just do the Gush training here. That way we can get Super Creek up to rainbow training. That'll help us out more long term. Don't want to waste anything after this. Excellent. 20 energy plus homestretch haste. Levels are looking solid. And now we can go ahead and train some speed. We got max energy, so might as well do a speed training here. If we don't get anything good the next turn, we can throw it into wit. And we'll choose the top option here to get a little bit of energy back. Diamond always has that really good one. That's a really good time to do a speed training. We got a 40 there. 49, it looks like, actually. Bubble pops help out quite a bit. And if we get lucky, we'll get a good stamina one right after, which we did. Perfect. Shaping up rather well. We've broken the mold for mile racing as far as our stamina goes right now. I would probably want at least over 600 to do mile racing. But overall, we're looking pretty solid as is. We should be fine for the Shuka Show. It's just a 2,000-meter race. And closers can be a little predictable, though. A lot of the time, they either crush it or they don't. They come in, you know, really average. But sometimes they are just absolutely blowing away the competition. So we pulled up a 3rd place in the Shuka Show. Haven't bought any skills yet. We might go in and buy some for any of the upcoming races. That way we don't get these fans falling behind anymore. We'll throw that into wit since our wit's low. I'm aiming for around a 400 in wit. We can do the Queen Elizabeth Cup here. That should really get us the fans that we need for really any upcoming race. And there we go. Yep, shouldn't have to worry about fans anymore. That gave us 18k. Did drain our energy, so we're gonna have to take a rest here. Energy that low. Oh, and we only got the 30. That's a bummer. Oh well, we can throw that into power. Let's see. Just a single rainbow stack. So I'm actually going to do wit here. Get the little bonus points from the reporter there, which we love to see. And the Arima Keenan. We got to place top 3. So let's go ahead. We can get Swinging Maestro. We have not gotten Professor of Curvature yet, which is unfortunate. And I'm going to try to avoid buying any skills until the end of the race, because right now we still have an A mile aptitude and an A medium aptitude. So I'm going to wait until the end. That way I can determine whether or not I want to buy medium-based or mile-based skills. So Swinging Maestro should really carry us through stamina-wise. Our speed isn't the best it could be, but it's not bad. It should be enough to do well here. And there's another 1st place by 3 whole lengths over Narita Bryan. Excellent. Our stat increases coming in hot. We got our next race coming up in 5 turns. Which was that the Osaka High? I can't remember. We'll see in just a minute here. Now, we should be looking pretty solid here. We've been doing lots of Unity Cup training. And again, we would normally go more for the good support card stacks over the Unity Cup trainings when trying to get just a base good PvP Hishi Amazon. You can always, if you're really confident in your playstyle, go for the maximizing Unity Cup training bubble pops. It's a little more difficult to do that, so we're kind of staying on the easy road here for the time being, but we'll release some really peak Uma builds and how we got there at a later date. So our best option here is going to be speed. We got both Smart Falcon and Winning Ticket here. And we got the Bushel of Carrots, not bad. Team Power Up, solid. And we don't really care about Practice Perfect. We're going to go for the stats here. Speed and power, and 15 points in total. We got a rather decent stamina training here, also with Bakushin and Digital. So let's go ahead and take that. We broke 600 on our stamina, so that's good. We're happy with that. And yeah, it was the Osaka High. That's just a 21. I'd actually prefer to do a wit training here. Our wit's really, really low. I want that up to at least a 350. That's the only downside, really, to not having the wit cards. We'll put that to home stretch haste, because that is going to be a skill we purchase. So the extra stats is going to help us a long way. Another wit training here. That's another 15 in there. And we're almost up to 300, which means our end races will be enough to get that up to the 350 that we're aiming for. Now, if we go higher, having a 400, 450 wouldn't be bad. We just don't want to neglect the other stats. Osaka High should be a breeze. We have Swinging Maestro. We haven't bought any other skills yet, but we are holding off for Professor of Curvature. There's 1st place by 4 lengths over Tokai Teo. So as you can see, we're getting significantly better at the racing as the time goes on here. Those early game ones are just a little bit difficult, just a little bit. And we got 4 turns before the Yasuda Keenan. Inspiration, will we get S-Turf? Or even S-Medium would be nice. Nope, but we did get Groundwork. Not a bad skill to throw on there, depending on what skills we buy. And we're up to level 3 for her super ultimate, whatever you want to call it. That's a 23. Let's throw that into wit. We're waiting until we get a double stack. I would like to get a double stack, but we haven't had very much luck on the second half so far. Tachyon gonna give us some energy back. Awesome. Might as well take the stamina while we can. That'll crack 700. And then let's take that into speed. It's pretty much going to be... Well, we got the double stamina, so we have to take that, which is awesome. But it's pretty much going to be all speed training after this. Let's go target in sight. And then we have maxed out our friendship there, so that's solid. I don't want to risk that, so let's take a rest. 50 energy, awesome. That's better than we would have gotten regardless. Yasuda Keenan should be a breeze, 1600 meters, and we have gold aptitudes for it. Another first place by a neck over vodka. Yeah, those vodkas, they can come in and just crush it randomly. Goal complete. 10 turns before the Japan Cup. Now let's take the energy here. We can almost max that out. Nothing good speed-wise, huh? We're still going to crank that into speed. We really need all the speed points we can get to ideally max it out by the end now. Unity Cup, second to last, should be solid. Stats are looking good. Team's built well. And that was a wipe. Excellent. Or sweep. Whatever you want to call it. I think wipe is bad. But we got a sweep. So now we got 11 whole turns and some beach training, which is awesome. We'll throw that into wit till we get a really good speed training. I'd like a bubble pop and a triple speed stack, please. 38. Yeah, we'll take the 38. Definitely. And we're increasing King Halo, which is good. Getting really close to S in speed so far. We're... A+, sorry. Just cracking A+. That was going to be a 42, which is a bummer that we're missing out on that. But that's okay. We got some pretty decent ones mixed in there. So we'll take the rest there. And then ideally get some really good speed trainings after this. And we are up to speed level 4. So that's going to go up even more. We'll take the 26. And it's helping our Umas along the way. 27 now. Let's go ahead. We'll do another wit training here. Four turns before Japan Cup. We got enough energy to do... Dang, they're really not feeding these to us, are they? I'm going to actually do a Rico here. Let's get some of that energy back and also increase our stamina a little bit. Okay, 28, that's fine. We can do that, and we'll still have enough energy for another one before the Japan Cup. Come on, what are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? We're just trying to get some good speed stacks. Come on. We put that into power to pop the bubble. That'll give us some better chances at the upcoming Unity Cup while we can. If they're not going to land where we want them to, we kind of have to take them as they go. So there's Professor of Curvature. We should be able to beat the Japan Cup without it, but it's 30% off, so we're going to go ahead and take that now anyways. Swinging Maestro and Professor of Curvature should pretty much be enough to carry the rest of this career. Excellent, there we go. 6 whole lengths over Symboli Rudolph. Professor of Curvature really making a big difference, but we did get some really good training in between the last race and this one, so I'm not surprised at that either. We got 1 turn before the Arima Keenan, and we could throw that into, hopefully, speed, maybe? Who knows? Let's see. Nothing good. So let's take a rest. Maybe we'll get 70. If we get lucky, we'll get a 70 here. And there we go. We're at max energy going in to the URA finale. Well, technically first is going to be the Unity Cup finale, but we will have max speed going on into the URA finale as well. 50,000 fans. We're looking good. Plus 3s. And that's all of our goals achieved. We got the Unity Cup finale up, and then we're headed right on in to the URA finals. I think we're going to be pretty set here. We did some really good trainings. It says we're on average, but it's hard to tell with these suggestions, so we'll just see how it plays out. We probably could have popped a few more bubbles. 2 out of 5. Not great, but not the worst, so we're fine with that. Again, we weren't aiming to win the Unity Cup. We did pretty well throughout it, regardless, so let's keep on moving on, and we got 1 turn before that, so I'm actually going to throw that into wit. Looks like we're going to be shy of maxing out our speed, but that's fine, because we were able to pull off a in stamina, We just didn't get very good luck with our speed stacks towards the end there, unfortunately. But, you know, that's the wonderful RNG of Umamusume. 22, yeah, we'll take the 22. And after that, we'll do one more speed training, and maybe we'll get lucky with a really good one that can push us up to that 1100 mark. Plus 13s for each and every race, so our other stats looking pretty solid. And excellent, we got a 39. Wish we were getting those a little bit earlier. Could have done even better, but you know, it is what it is. I think we're gonna break 1100. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. One of these days, I'm gonna have to calculate these points ahead of time to know just exactly how many points we get at the end here, because I know we're gonna get 13 from this race. Easy first place on the race. We got 13. And then let's see what our final tallies are. 13, none from her. Then 8, so that's 21. And then she'll give us 5. Yeah, 5. 26, so we're going to be 4 points short of 1100. 3 points short of 1100. Dang! Well, that's a bummer. Obviously, we're going to want to max speed. Well, we can do this a couple of times, and if you're testing out the same method, you might have even already max speed on your first run. It really is coming down to the support cards. This build itself works really well with Hishi Amazon, and you can pretty easily pull this off. We just didn't get some of the support card stacks we're looking for, but 103 points short shy is not that bad at all. We're talking 2, maybe 3 extra rainbow trainings, and we would have been nice. So we're actually going to go ahead, set her up as a medium racer. So we'll get Unyielding, we'll get some end closers, get all I've got. She's also an end closer. Let's grab Groundwork. Let's grab Strategist, end closer Savvy. I'll get end closer Corners. And then we got 84 points to mess with here. So I will throw those very last points into Firm Conditions. We're going to most likely be racing on firm races with her. So that's a good one to have. That should be a easy A here. And there we have it. Almost an A+, 11,609. 2 stamina sparks, not the best, but not bad. Probably won't use her as a legacy character. But all in all, we're happy with the build. And yeah, we have the stamina to do a medium. We have the power to do a medium. Guts and wit looking solid. And we were just shy on the speed this run. And I think our skills are looking pretty solid as well. If you have some better legacy cards that could even give you some, you know, better S rank in E or an S rank in medium, stuff like that, you could build her, you know, mild, medium, long, depending on how you want to do it. Technically, you could build her as a sprinter if you wanted. But this is my guide for a Team Trials ready and A-rank guide for Hishi Amazon. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, throw them in the comment section down below, and I will get to them as quickly as possible. But thanks again for watching the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye now.